Hello there, and welcome to the EDC Empire. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the MKM Mikro, a small fixed blade designed by Jesper Vaxnäs and originating in Italy. The main way to deploy the Mikro is just by pulling it out of its pocket sheath, which you can carry in a couple different ways, so we'll get into that later in the video. The blade material on the Mikro is Bohler M390. It's in a drop point shape, because this is the Mikro 1, and it has a flat ground blade. If I had the Mikro 2, it would be in a sheep's foot shape, and that's pretty much the only difference, but again, we'll talk about that a little later in the video. The handle material is carbon fiber with the M390 tang around it, and it also has this blue titanium ring around the screw, which is on both sides and adds a nice little colorful effect. The overall length of the Mikro is 4.35 inches. The overall depth here at the widest point is 0.95 inches, and the width at the widest point this way is 0.45 inches. That puts you at a little bit less than the width at the pivot of the Spyderco Tenacious, which is exactly 0.5 inches. Then getting into some size comparisons, I have some more traditional folding knives, traditional sized anyways, Spyderco Tenacious and QSP Penguin. So obviously the Mikro is a very small fixed blade. It's much smaller than both of these knives. Honestly, more comparable to the length of the handle on the Tenacious. Additionally, I have the CRKT Minimalist, another small fixed blade, but not quite as small as the Mikro, so that kind of gives you a good size comparison for that. The overall blade length of the Mikro is 1.95 inches, and the edge length 2.11 inches. The blade stock, it comes in at 0.17 inches, so it's thicker than normal, and it does come down to a pretty thick tip as well. That emphasizes its utility focus, which has been great, but we'll get into more of its uses in a little bit. It weighs 0.98 ounces, so also pretty light, but more comparable to its size. And some dimensions for the sheath itself. The sheath is made of leather. It also comes with a leather string to carry it as a neck knife if you choose. And the sheath has a couple of features. It's magnetic here, and this magnetic flap also comes with a pivot, which can be used just around your pocket like this for in-pocket carry, or as a retention strap for a neck knife, or fully in your pocket if you fold this over and around the knife. I'll talk about the sheath in a couple minutes though. The sheath width is also 1.8 inches. So now getting into some of my thoughts about the Mikro itself. The Mikro is small, but like a lot of other Jesper Vaxnäs knives, it's comfortable and it doesn't feel super small or uncomfortable in that aspect. I can get a pretty good 3-finger grip all the way on the blade, and I could kind of get my pinky on there as well, but this is quite comfortable. The comfort continues with the jimping, and the jimping is especially comfortable with this drop point shape, using it for pinch grips, or is best held with your thumb on the jimping for maybe a push cut, or pointer finger for that pinch grip again. There's also jimping on the back of the knife here, kind of for design, but adds a little bit of grip as well. While I've been using the Mikro, the M390 has stayed relatively sharp, which is good. Not the strongest steel you'd say, but definitely decent and has held up pretty well with the knife. So the sheath, like I've said a little bit already, you can carry it in a couple different ways. So mostly how I've been carrying it is using this flap that's magnetic around my pocket, so the pocket material would be here, and it just folds around that, and that stays in my pocket quite well. You can also carry it as a neck knife with that leather strap I've mentioned, and the pivot on this flap helps with extra retention, keeping the knife in. That can be used when you're carrying it as a neck knife, going around in the cutout here, or if you want to carry it fully in your pocket, so just slip it in your pocket and none of it is on the outside, except for, of course, this handle above the top of your pants. So you've also, the sheath is very, it keeps the knife in very well. The magnet helps with this because it attracts to the steel when it's in there, so it pulls it in with a magnet, which, yeah, I've had no problems with keeping the knife in the sheath at all. That is fantastic, and so you don't really need to worry about the knife falling out, whether you're sitting in a weird position or laying down, or even just in general. However, I have had a little bit of trouble with sometimes when I'm pulling the knife out. Like I mentioned, I've been carrying it, so the flap is outside of my pocket, keeping it in. The knife stays in the sheath so well that it pulls the whole sheath out with it, which is a little bit of a problem, a little bit annoying, and I have to use 2 hands to do it, but I do appreciate that the knife stays in there no matter what. The sheath can also be used as a push-off point instead, so you can use one finger to keep it in and another to take it out, but it's a little cumbersome, so just take note of that. There's also a Kydex sheath replacement that you can buy for about $45 on Blade HQ and other retailers as well, if you prefer that. The Kydex sheath is not like ambidextrous in the way that you can reverse which way you're putting in the knife, but the pocket clip is replaceable, so it is ambidextrous in that sense. So I have the Mikro 1. This comes in a drop point shape, and the Mikro 2 is just the sheep's foot blade shape, so they're a little different. That's pretty much the only difference though. They both have Bohler M390, and yeah, I think either one would be fine. That's pretty much the only difference. The blade shape on the Mikro 1 drop point, with such a thick blade, it's a little odd for some utility purposes. It's fine for some things. I've used it to cut open boxes, to cut off tags. I think that some other knives that I've used have been better, but it worked. It did what it was supposed to do, so not really complaining there, but also not it didn't impress me very much. It doesn't really work with the geometry of the knife. So there's a couple different options for the handles when you're buying the Mikro. So you can have carbon fiber like this one, canvas micarta, G10, olive wood, or just skeletonized with this handle section cut out. You can also mod any of the Mikros that have the handles filled in to be skeletonized by just taking the scale material out. So the price range for the Mikro ranges from about $75 for the skeletonized version to about $110 for this carbon fiber, at least on Blade HQ and Knife Center, but check out on whatever retailer you would like to purchase it from. It may vary slightly. So overall, the Mikro is a nice little fixed blade, and it's very good for utility purposes other than the drop point shape being a little strange, but still working, of course. My only real complaint was about removing it from the sheath when it was in your pocket, where the sheath comes out as well, but there are many other ways to carry the Mikro, so that should not keep you from purchasing and using it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving us a like and subscribe, and if you own the MKM Mikro, please comment what you thought of it. Thanks for watching.